first order differential equation. Okay, or it consists of series of first order difference equations and differential equations. These are two different things. Differential equation would be in this form: d raised to power n x of t by dt n. Difference equation would be of this form: x of n minus 1. So differential equation is generally in continuous time domain, but difference equation, it is generally in discrete time domain. Okay, so they are actually one and the same thing, but they are representations in two different domains. So difference, state variable description actually consists of series of first order differential or difference equations that describe that describe how state of the system evolves. Okay, that describes how the state of the system evolves. These state variable, actually these are series of differential equations, so I'll say that these are equations actually. So state variable equations, actually they relate output of a system. Okay, these equations are generally which equations? State variable equations. Now, okay, state variable equations are series of first order differential equations or difference equations, so they are just equations. These equations, they are written in matrix form. ये generally हम matrix form में लिखते हैं. It is a different form of representing actually a system, especially when we say linear time invariant system. So since we have actually matrices, हमारे पास matrices अब होती है equations in the form of matrix. So we have matrices basically. Therefore, we know that matrix algebra, okay, matrix algebra is a very powerful algebra. So therefore, I'll write here, therefore, powerful tools from linear algebra may be used. So we can use powerful tools from linear algebra to study the system, or even to design the system. ठीक है, हम इसको आगे देखेंगे कैसे, once we will take examples. Okay. For now, we will take a general system and we'll develop state equations for that. Okay. So we shall develop for now the general state variable equations. State variable description by starting with the direct form second. हमने direct form second देखी है. Direct form second structure. We already saw direct form second structure. So which is somewhere here. Okay. We have seen that, I think here, this is a direct form second structure जो हमने पिछली class में already discuss किया है. Okay. So we'll take this structure here and we will describe this structure in the form of state variable description. हमने इससे पहले जो direct form second देखा था, that was in the form of differential equations, and that was second order differential equations. In previous lecture we used differential equations, but second order differential equations. But in this lecture we will use differential equations of first order only, series of differential equations. Okay, and we'll represent this direct form second. So direct form second implementation of a second, and that was obviously second order linear time invariant system. Okay, जो हमने पहले देखा था डायरेक्ट फॉर्म सेकंड का, वो सेकंड ऑर्डर सिस्टम था, क्योंकि उसमें अगर आप देखेंगे why it was second order, where is it, somewhere here, इसमें अगर आप देखोगे यू हैव टू डिफरेंस इक्वेशंस, टू डिफरेंस इक्वेशन मींस दो बार डिफरेंशिएशन या इंटीग्रेशन हो रही है। ओके, इसमें दो ही बार डिफरेंशिएशन या इंटीग्रेशन हो रही है। सो दैट इज हाउ इट इज सिस्टम विद सेकंड ऑर्डर representation or second order linear time invariant system. Okay, now see direct form second order system, it is shown below. I'll draw it here and then we'll try to assess it. I'll draw this system once more. So this is direct form second system. हमने ये पिछली lecture में we have seen it in our previous lecture also. This is y of n. This is y of n. So we used to have here integral. Okay, we used to have here integral. Agar that was in continuous time domain, if we show it in discrete time domain, then it is a shift operation. Okay, यहाँ shift operation होगा. Continuous time domain में it means an integral operation, यहाँ ये shift operation होगा. Then we will have another, हमें यहाँ एक और integral हुआ करता था, so means another shift operation. So this is quite similar to that structure that we have seen before also. It was something like this. Mhm. So we used to have here somewhere here minus a2, यहाँ पे हुआ करता था minus a1, यहाँ हुआ करता था b1 और यहाँ हुआ करता था b2. और just a second. And say for example this is x of n on the left hand side. So say for example this point here, it is q of n plus 1. Okay, q of n plus 1. अब इसकी रिप्रेजेंटेशन जो मैं दिखा रहा हूँ, इट इज इन डिस्क्रीट टाइम डोमेन फॉर्म. ठीक है, इसमें कोई परेशानी नहीं है. आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू represent it. Similarly, you have here this point. It is q1 of n. Okay, this is q1 of n. So it is q1 of n. And you have q2 of n here. q2 of n here. This is qn plus 1. qn plus 1. Or we can also say it is q1 n plus 1. Okay, कैसे होगा ये वो मैं आपको बताऊंगा, how it will be like that. Now see, from the above diagram, if we will try to find out the equations here, we'll try to find out the equations here. What is qn1, q1 of n plus 1? Okay, q1 n plus 1. This is this point. This is this point. Okay, or this point. Now see, in this point, we have three different equations. Okay, एक तो इसमें जाता है x of n इस point पे. One is x of n. Another one is this much. This is also coming and going there. Okay, अब इसमें क्या है, इसमें दो चीजें आती है, एक तो यहाँ से एक ब्रांच है, एक तो यहाँ से एक ब्रांच है. Okay, so we have three different branches coming and they are making us qn plus 1. तो अगर हम लिखेंगे qn plus 1, I'll write down what is qn plus 1. पहली ब्रांच जो है, पहली ब्रांच इसमें जिसको मैं रब करूंगा ऊपर वाली, इट इज इट इज x ऑफ n. तो पहले आता है इसमें x ऑफ n लेफ्ट हैंड साइड से, तो वो आता है यहाँ से. ओके, सो दिस वन. पहले तो एक ये सिग्नल आती है x ऑफ n इसमें. और दूसरी सिग्नल इसमें जो आती है वो है प्लस ये वाली सिग्नल, this signal. Okay, this signal. So what is this signal? This is minus a1. So प्लस नहीं होगा, अब होगा माइनस. ओके, अब ये माइनस होगा. तो माइनस a1 times, what is this? This is q1 of n. q1 of n. Okay, माइनस a1 times q1 of n. और तीसरी सिग्नल इसमें आती है नीचे से. नीचे से मीन्स ये वाली सिग्नल आती है. ओके, so what is that signal? Just a second. Oh. That signal is minus a2 q2 of n. ठीक है, तो एक सिग्नल तो ये थी, वो यहाँ से आती है आपको, दैट इज दिस येलो वन. एक सिग्नल ये है जो आपको यहाँ से जा रही है, दैट इज ब्लू वन. एंड यू हैव अ थर्ड वन विच इज पिंक वन, विच इज दिस थिंग. सो यू हैव दिस टर्म. ठीक है, तो 3 टर्म्स इसमें हैं, और ये 3 टर्म्स सारी एडअप होती हैं और ये बनाते हैं qn+1 और q1n+1. एक ही बात है दोनों में. ठीक है, वाई? बिकॉज qn+1 को जब शिफ्ट ऑपरेशन करेंगे, qn+1 q1n+1 को जब आप शिफ्ट ऑपरेशन करेंगे, शिफ्ट ऑपरेशन, तो इट विल बिकम q1 n+1 minus 1. Okay, so that is equal to q1 of n. So that is why I said that this is q1 of n+1. जब q1 n+1 को शिफ्ट ऑपरेशन करेंगे, it will become q1 of n. रोल नंबर 14 को ही समझ में आया बेटा?
जी सर.
What about 20?
यस सर.
समझ आया बेटा?
जी सर, जी सर.
24,
Yes sir. Yes sir.
43.
Yes sir.
Okay, all right. So this is one thing. Okay, so I'll call this equation as equation 1. This is equation 1. This is equation 1. Okay, पहली equation हमने ये बनाई. The second equation is q2n+1, 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 q2n+1. It is also equal to q2n+1. Just a second. q2n+1. Give me a second. I'll check whether I'm doing a calculation. Yes, okay. q2n+1, it is equal to q1n plus, sorry, q1 of n, q1 of n. q2n+1, it is equal to q1 of n, q1 of n. q2n+1 will be equal to q1 of n, q1 of n. Why? The same thing is here. See, you have here, I'll drop these. Okay, I cannot remove them. Anyway, see, the same thing is here. I'll write it down with the help of blue one. You have q2 of n here. Okay, ये जो है यहाँ पे ये point, it is q2 of n. ठीक है, इसको जब आपने shift किया होगा, तो I'll write down here. See, q2 of n+1 को अगर हम shift करेंगे, अगर हम इसको shift करेंगे, so it will become q2 of n, q2 of n. ठीक है, q2 n+1 को जब shift operation करेंगे, it will become q2 of n. It is same explanation as you have above. जो ऊपर explanation है, वही same explanation इसमें भी है. q2 of n+1 को जब shift operation करेंगे, it will become q2 of n. अब देखिए, q2 of n is here. Okay, you have q2 of n is here. right over here at the bottom. So ये Q2 of n है। तो इसको आपने शिफ्ट ऑपरेशन किया है, यहाँ ये शिफ्ट ऑपरेशन किया है, ठीक है। जब आपने इसको यहाँ शिफ्ट ऑपरेशन किया है, इसका मतलब है जो इससे पहले वाला पॉइंट था समवेयर हेयर, इट शुड हैव बीन Q2n+1, Q2n+1, बट इट इज Q1 of n। तभी मैंने लिखा ऊपर Q2n+1 इज Q1 of n। Q1 रिजवान है यहाँ पे, रिजवान आपको समझ में आया बेटा?
जी सर।
Okay, I'll remove that. I don't need these markings then. Just a second. Let me pick up a call. So I'll write simply this equation now. Okay, this is very important equation. Q2n+1 is equal to Q1 of n. ये सारे बच्चों को समझ में आया? किसी को is there anyone who wants it to be repeated once again? Okay, ठीक है, तो ये ठीक है, no problem. Now see, we have now two equations. बासित, yes, आप बताइए क्या बोलना चाहते हैं?
सर Q2n+1 है ना सर?
हाँ
सर हमने जब Q1n को शिफ्ट दिया ना,
देखो, मैं इसको यहाँ से उठाऊंगा, देखिए ये जो ये पोर्शन है, मैं इसको यहाँ लाता हूँ नीचे, ठीक है। I'll take it here. आप मुझे यहाँ से हेल्प करेंगे if I am incorrect somewhere. It was Q1 of n, then आपने इसको शिफ्ट ऑपरेशन दिया है and it became Q2 of n. Okay, this is what is it. वहाँ पे जो दिखाया गया है, it is same thing. Now see, we already know that ये जो Q2 of n है, जब इसको शिफ्ट करेंगे, ये पहले होना चाहिए था Q2 of n+1। क्यों होना चाहिए था? क्योंकि शिफ्ट ऑपरेशन इसको when you go for a shift operation, it will become Q2 n+1 और -1 इसमें ऐड होगा। ओके, तो -1 and +1 will be cancelled, that is how it will become then Q2 of n। ठीक है, अब अगर आप इन दोनों को रिलेट करेंगे, आप इसको इन दोनों को रिलेट करें, यहाँ देखिए आप, try to find out these two quantities. It means that Q2 of n+1, it is equal to Q1 of n। ठीक है, ये बासित, रोल नंबर 16, is it fine now?
yes sir,
Okay,
yes
ठीक
sir.
है। So I'll remove it. तो मैं ये लिख के रखता हूँ यहाँ पे, नो प्रॉब्लम। सो इट इज Q n+1 -1, तो it will become Q2 of n। okay, once we compare them, we will see that Q2 of n+1 is equal to Q1 of n। okay, तभी मैं कह रहा था कि मैं असाइनमेंट देना नहीं चाहता हूँ आपको, मैं कोशिश करता हूँ कि आपको पढ़ाऊँ ही, ये बहुत मुश्किल होगा आपके लिए। जिस बच्चे को कोई परेशानी होगी वो जा सकता है, नो प्रॉब्लम। अटेंडेंस आप एक बार कर रहे हैं, आई टेक इट, देन इट्स नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम। Now see, we have two equations. Okay, we have two equations, equation 1 and equation 2. It's very important. I'll mark them. One equation here, another equation here. I have marked them with a star. Okay. Apart from these two equations, इस structure में y of n भी है, output equation. So this is y of n. Okay, here y of n. अभी हमने y of n की इक्वेशन नहीं लिखी, अभी हमने सिर्फ दो इक्वेशंस लिखी, ठीक है। So I'll write down a third equation, y of n, that is, or I'll write down like this first, हो सकता है आप you'll be lost then. The output of block diagram is expressed as follows. ठीक है, अब इसका आउटपुट भी हम देख सकते हैं, कैसे हम लिखेंगे. I'll write down here y of n. Now see, y of n में जाता है, एक तो x of n जाता है इसमें. ओके, इट इज इक्वल टू x of n. एक तो इसमें x of n जाता है. लेट मी ड्रॉ इट लिटिल बिट बिगर. हाँ, एक तो इसमें x of n जाएगा, वो तो एक चीज आएगी, एक टर्म. दूसरा इसमें जाएगा a1 q1 a1 q1 of n. ओके, तीसरी इसमें जाएगी माइनस a2 q2 of n. और इसमें जाएगा यहाँ से जो इस साइड से जो आती हैं, b1 b2 वाली टर्म्स, b1 b2 वाली टर्म्स, that will be also added. Okay, plus I will ask students, they will help me in calculating this term b1 and b2 term, which will be added to y of n. I think I'll ask Sheikh Lubna, roll number 6, what should be the next term that should be added to the equation? Sheikh Lubna, roll number 6.
Yes, sir.
बताइए, what is the next term? Two terms. मैंने इसमें दो टर्म्स ऑलरेडी ऐड की है, एक तो पिंक वाली ऐड की मैंने, और एक ब्लू वाली, एक येलो वाली. ओके, these
Yes,
three
sir.
terms I have already mentioned. Now I am left
Yes,
with
sir.
on the right hand side of the structure. Help me.
So we have to take the B terms now.
Yes. What will be the next term?
So it will be Qn plus 1 into B1. Qn into B1. Q1n into B1.
Q1n into B1. Yes, it will be Q1n into B1. So I can write down B1 into Q1 of n. That is the next term. Okay. Then the last term would be plus. What is the last term? Last term would be Ifra Shabir will tell me roll number 10. Roll number 10.
Sub B2 times Q2 of n.
Very good. B2 times Q2 of n. बहुत अच्छे. So now this is the output equation. ठीक है, ये अब तीन equations हो गई. Output equation, input equation, output equation and equation 1 and 2. Now see, this output equation can be further rearranged. Okay, इसको थोड़ा सा हम rearrange करेंगे. Y of n will be equal to you have certain terms in which you have a1 and b1. Okay, you have a term, you have a1 here and b1 here, and they have common q1 of n. इसमें common है q1 of n. ठीक है, तो हम इन terms को एक साथ group करेंगे. So I'll write down here this equation as b1 minus a1 को common निकालेंगे q1 of n. Okay, और दूसरी term है जिसमें q2 है common. यहाँ पे भी एक q2 common है, यहाँ पे भी एक q2 common है. So I will write down this equation now, simplified form में. I'll write it like this: b2 minus a2 into q2 of n, okay, plus x of n. X of n is already there. Okay, so I'm just trying to rearrange this equation, the equation above, in the form of a simplified form, that is here. Let it be equation 3 now. Okay, I have now equation 1, 2 and 3 equations. Okay, now see equation 1 and 2.
Sir,
Huh.
there was a B naught term as well in direct from second.
Yes, there was a b naught term, but I have not mentioned it here. Okay, b naught can be equal to 1. See, even if there's a very good question, she said that there was a b naught term here. So I have assumed that b naught is equal to 1. Sorry, b naught equal to 1. Okay, so it doesn't matter. b naught equal to 1. किसने पूछा था ये सवाल?
Sir, 24.
Okay, b naught was there. I have assumed that b naught is equal to 1 in this structure because it is mentioned in the Simon-Hackens similar fashion. Anyway, now see equation 1 and 2. Equation 1 and equation 2. Those are these two equations which you have at the top. Okay, equation 1 and equation 2 can be written as can be written in matrix form. मैट्रिक्स फॉर्म, हम इनको मैट्रिक्स फॉर्म में लिख सकते हैं. कैसे लिखेंगे? For equation 1, you have on the left hand side q1 n plus 1. Okay, q1 n plus 1. And for equation 2, you have on the left hand side q2 n plus 1. q2 n plus 1. So this will be one vector. It will be one vector. Okay, it will be equal to, then for equation 1, you have q1 and q2. You have q1 and q2. Okay, so let me write down here q1 and q2. And equation 2 में भी आपको q1 है but q2 नहीं है. So I'll write down here q1. Say for example, I'll write down this form. This is q1 of n and this is q2 of n. This is separate vector. Okay, now see equation 1 में q1 और q2 की terms दोनों हैं. तो पहली टर्म जो है इट इज q1 में -a1 है मल्टीप्लाई, q2 में -a2 है मल्टीप्लाई. ओके, दिस इज हाउ वी कैन राइट इट डाउन इक्वेशन 1. इफ यू सॉल्व इट, इक्वेशन 1 ऊपर वाली है तो आपको q1 n plus 1 मिलेगा इक्वल टू -a1 इंटू q1 n एंड -a2 q2 n. और इसके अलावा भी यू हैव वन मोर थिंग देयर. व्हाट इज अनदर थिंग? You have 1 here and it is x of n. इक्वेशन 1 में x of n भी है. ओके, तो इसीलिए मैंने एक थर्ड वेक्टर आई हैव डिफाइंड जिसमें ऊपर 1 लिखा है, नीचे अभी नहीं लिखा मैंने. फॉर इक्वेशन 2, दैट इज दिस वन, q2 n plus 1, it will be equal to, मैट्रिक्स में क्या लिखेंगे? मैट्रिक्स में you have only q1n. q1n ही है खाली. ठीक है, here you have only q1n. You have only q1n on the left hand side of the equation 2. तो आप इसमें लिखेंगे 1 times that will be q1 of n. Since q2 of n is not present, then it will be 0. You will have 0 here. Similarly, xn is not present in equation 2. Equation 1 में x of n है, यहाँ present नहीं है, तो it will be 0. Is it fine? Roll number 11, आपको ये समझ में आया बेटा? 11th, roll number 11.
Excuse me,
रोल नंबर 11.
excuse me सर.
जी बताइए.
सर प्लीज आप ही रिपीट करेंगे, मुझे बीच में डिस्कनेक्ट हुआ था. ये
ओके
मैट्रिक्स वाला.
ओके, नो प्रॉब्लम.
थैंक यू.
See, actually I am trying to represent equation 1 and equation 2 in terms of matrix. When you have two different set of equations, linear equations, आप उनको मैट्रिक्स फॉर्म में लिख सकते हैं. ठीक है, अगर आपको पता है linear equations, two linear equations can be solved using matrix form also. ठीक है, using matrix formula, matrix form also, जिसको हम कहते हैं क्रेमर्स रूल. अगर आपने क्रेमर्स रूल वगैरह देखा होगा. So any set of equations, not only two, any set of equations, whether it is 3, 4, 5 equations, any set of equations can be represented in terms of matrices also. Then it is very easy to solve them using matrix form, using Cramer's rule. We can solve any equation using matrix form very easily. अब कैसे उनको represent करना पड़ता है? You need to go back to your, matrix algebra, linear algebra जिसमें matrix पढ़ते हैं. तो कैसे अब हमने यहाँ पे क्या, I'll just recapitulate कैसे करते हैं. On the left hand side you have q1 n plus 1 and q2 n plus 1. ठीक है, दो टर्म्स हैं, तो इन दोनों को यहाँ लिखा जाता है. इसका एक अलग स्केलर ये बनेगा. You will have a different vector for that. फिर then you have equation equal to, पहली इक्वेशन जैसे देखेंगे, you have x of n minus a1 minus a2 and terms are q1 n and q2. ठीक है, तो पहले हम q1n और q1n and q2n का दूसरा एक वेक्टर बनाएंगे. फिर क्योंकि q1n and q2n they have scalar multiplications. If you see from the structure, q1n are actually signals. ठीक है, q1n and q2n are actually signals. ये दोनों क्या हैं? ये signals हैं, इसीलिए हमने इनका वेक्टर बनाया. और जो स्टेट वेरिएबल वेक्टर है वो असल में होता है सिग्नल्स का बना हुआ. इस स्ट्रक्चर में q1n and q2n are the two signals. That is why we are making a vector which is here. this vector q1n and q2n, which is also known as state vector, state variable vector, इसको हमने बनाया q1n और q2n को. हमने a1 a2 का नहीं बनाया क्योंकि a1 and a2 they are actually scalar multiples, they are scalar multiples. तो स्केलर मल्टीपल्स को हमेशा मैट्रिक्स में रखा जाता है, तो हमने मैट्रिक्स में रखा -a1 and -a2. And since you have in equation 1 you have a third term also x of n, वो हमने separately यहाँ डिफाइन की, उसको भी हमने एक वेक्टर फॉर्म में ही किया डिफाइन. तो ऊपर you have 1, okay, 1 times x of n. तो अगर आप ये वाली लाइन देखोगे, see how we can solve this equation 1 can be taken from this yellow line. कैसे होगा? देखिए, you have q1 of n plus 1 यहाँ होगा, then this will be multiplied with this thing, so you have minus a1 q1 of n, then this will be multiplied with this thing, so you have minus a2 q2 of n, then this will be multiplied with this thing plus x of n. अगर आप इस इक्वेशन को देखोगे, ये इक्वेशन 1 है, it is same as equation 1. Okay, so this is how you represent it in the form of matrices. अगर किसी बच्चे को ये नहीं आता है करना, वो उसको सीख ले, उतना मुश्किल नहीं है, it is very easy. You can do it at your, you just need to consult your basic books. 11th 12th में भी इस चीज़ का थोड़ा सा दिया जाता है इंट्रोडक्शन. तो आप इसको देखें एक बार अपनी किताबों में, आपको ये समझ में आ जाएगा कैसे लिखा मैंने. Now what I am trying to say now, I have shown these equations, these two equations. Similarly we have done for equation 2. equation 2 के लिए नीचे वाली लाइन है, तो उसके लिए शायद ये वाला होगा. ठीक है, अब उसमें x of n है ही नहीं, इसीलिए यहाँ नीचे 0 रखा मैंने, 0 times x of n. Anyway, it's not that much difficult, I don't find it difficult. तो so we have obtained a matrix form of the equation 1 and equation 2. Let this be called as equation 4. Okay, चलिए हमने इसको किया equation 4 mark. We have called it equation 4. Similarly, equation 3, which is the output equation, okay, equation 3, which is the output equation, we can also mark this equation in terms of matrices. Similarly, equation 3 can be expressed as y of n, क्योंकि इसमें एक ही है, यहाँ से ये दो equations नहीं है, ये एक ही है. y of n will be written as I'll ask students, they will help me in writing the equation 3 in terms of matrix form. So this one will be roll number 27. How can I write down it better? आप मुझे बताइए. So equation 3 is here. Okay, I have to write it in the form of matrices.
B1 minus A1.
Very good. It is B1 minus A1.
इसके नीचे आएगा सर B2 minus A2.
यहाँ आएगा B2 minus A2.
नीचे नहीं आएगा, साइड में इसके.
Very good. इसमें साइड में आ जाएगा, नीचे नहीं आ सकता. Okay, so it is B2 minus A2. Very good. ये एक वेक्टर होगा.
Then plus
मल्टीप्लाई किसके साथ होगा? और एक वेक्टर होगा. स्टेट वेरिएबल वेक्टर कौन सा होगा?
Q1 of n.
Q1 of n.
इसके नीचे Q2 of n.
बस बस बस, अब बंद करो. Roll number 24 will tell me what is the next term that I'll write down here. In order to complete the equation.
It will be 1 of x of n.
Very good. It is 1 of x of n. That is very easy. It's not that much difficult. So let us call this equation as equation 5. Now see, we have equation 4 and equation 5, which is nothing but representation of 1 and 3 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3 in matrix form. Okay. And please remember that this vector q1 of n and q2 of n, it is known as state vector. Okay, इसमें इसको कहा जाता है state vector. So we'll write down, if we define the state vector as column vector, then q of n is generally the state vector, which is equal to q1 of n and q2 of n. This is the state vector. Okay. Now we can write equation 4 and 5 further. Equation 4 and 5 can be written as, in general, अगर हम लिखेंगे, see, equation 4 में आपके पास था q1 of इस side से, it was q1 of n plus 1 and q2 of n plus 1. इसके बजाय हम लिखेंगे, we'll write down qn plus 1, यहाँ लिखेंगे, ठीक है, इस पूरे वेक्टर के बजाय qn plus 1. फिर लिखेंगे, then you have something here. Okay, you had a matrix here which is a 2 cross 2 matrix. Okay, इस 2 cross 2 matrix के बजाय हम लिखेंगे a times. Then you have this matrix, this vector here, q1 of n, q2 of n. इसके बजाय हम लिखेंगे q of n, क्योंकि ये state vector है. So this is, so I'll write down here like this. It is q of n. Similarly, I'll write down b times x of n. What is b? B is nothing but this thing. Okay, b is this vector. Okay, b of x of n. So let us call this equation as equation 6 now. Sorry. So this is equation 6 now. Similarly, I can write down equation 5 as y of n अपना ही रहेगा, because you have y of n on one side. Then you will have c of q of n, c of q of n. What is c? C is this entire row vector. Okay, and what is q of n? Q of n is this state variable column vector, state variable column vector. Then it will be plus d times x of n. So let it be equation 7. Okay, I'll just conclude the discussion now, where matrix A is equal to minus a1, minus a2, 1 and 0. ठीक है, ये मैंने एक तो लिखा है. I'll ask students what is B. B now. What is B from my discussion? What is B now? Okay, I'll ask students what is B. They'll help me. Rian ul Qadir is here. Rian, roll number 36.
Yes, sir.
What is B? Please help me in drawing the B.
B is, sir, 1 and 0.
Very good. It is row vector or column vector?
It's row vector.
It is row vector or column vector?
Sorry, sir, column vector.
Column है कि row है?
Column, sir, मुझे confusion होता है.
ठीक है, चलो बंद करो. We have Aruja here, roll number 51. She will help
Yes,
me.
sir.
C. What is C, beta? Please help me in drawing C.
So B1 minus A1 and B2 minus A2.
Very good. B1 minus A1, B2 minus A2. This is the same thing. Okay. And what is D? I will ask roll number 63. Asif Ashraf will tell me what is D. D vector. Roll number 63. Asif Ashraf. Shabina Muzaffar, 66.
So D is
D.
1.
Very good. D is 1. D is 1. Okay. So it is not that much difficult. So D is 1. D is 1. Now see equation 6 and 7 that we had here. Equation 6 and 7. This is the general form of state variable description. Okay. Corresponding to a discrete time system. Please remember it is for discrete time system. So I'll write down here the discussion. Equation 6 and 7 are the general form. हमने general form describe किया. General form of a state variable description corresponding to a discrete टाइम सिस्टम। ठीक है, ये डिस्क्रीट टाइम सिस्टम के लिए स्टेट वेरिएबल डिस्क्रिप्शन है। ठीक है, और इसमें भी जो मैट्रिक्स ए है, मैट्रिक्स ए और वेक्टर्स बी एंड सी एंड स्केलर डी। D is not a vector, it is a scalar, neither it is a matrix, it is a scalar. A, B and C, okay, they represent another description of a system, another description of a system. They represent another description of the system. Systems having different internal structure, systems having different internal structure, will be represented by different A's, B's, C's and D's. Please remember that A, B and C, matrix A, vector B and C and scalar D, they actually capture a different dimension of the system. What do they capture? They capture the internal structure of the system. I'll give you an example later on. It will be more clear, with that example. So if you have a system which has different internal structure other than direct form second that we are taking above, that we have taken as an example, if you have a system with different internal structure, then the value of A, B, C and D will be different. It will be different. ठीक है, ये आपको हमेशा याद रखना है. I'll take a few more minutes and I'll stop then. Or I'll stop now because you'll have a math class now. If you have a question, you can ask me right now. Otherwise, I'll stop. अगर कोई सवाल है किसी को पूछ सकते हैं.